Good energy, 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 good energy. Let's do it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Queer Collective podcast. My name is Karbon.
And I'm Emily.
And we've been gone for a hot second, but we're back. And we've been gone because mental health matters. So we needed some time to take care of that.
It was a minute. School's getting to be a lot right now.
Who else is in school right now? Leave a like or comment in the comments or leave a like, subscribe.
Hi, I'm in school also. That's the comment. Hello.
Hello, am school.
Yeah.
Thank you. We appreciate that. All right. So the topic of this pod is what?
We're talking about something that probably a lot of people are familiar with. It is the term faking it till you making it. You heard that before?
I'm familiar with the term. We use it a lot in the dance world / I think every world, actually.
Yeah, definitely everywhere. Business worlds for sure.
Yeah.
And
definitely a lot in the audition world, which I've
creative
been a part of.
industries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You literally they're like, can you do this? And you say yes. But you really can't. And then you Google it later.
Can you do a backflip?
Yes.
Oh, no.
And now I got to learn a backflip.
But basically what we want to get into today is that this term can be useful if you use it right, but it can also be toxic and put you into situations where you start feeling a bit imposter-y. And we're going to give you sort of stories about both situations where we've done it and maybe it's sort of like paid off or is in the process of maybe paying off, and then some embarrassing stories / cautionary tales of why you should not put yourself into situations where you don't feel like you're yourself.
So stick around.
Yeah. My imposter syndrome one was I was in a music video.
Why do you push your hair back like I was in a music video?
So stay till the end.
So stay till the end if you want to find out about her music video experience.
I was a music video hoe.
Can you find the music video where Emily is doing her thing?
Good luck.
Being a bubble hoe.
Because I actually can't find it either.
It's a treasure. It's a hidden gem, I think.
I kind of wish I could find it, to be honest.
Maybe we could. Maybe we can. Probably not.
Yeah, I don't even know the artist name. So I've been using this phrase fairly successfully basically since I graduated high school, and like one person said it to me and I was like, okay. Because a lot of what goes on in my head is basically me telling myself that I can't do something. So it's kind of just like, to me, it's like positive self-talk and like manifesting is what faking it till you're making it is actually to me. What is it to you?
It honestly depends because it has meant a couple different things. It has had a positive connotation to it, and it's also had a negative one as well. So there's that.
In what ways has it been negative for you?
So there's been many times where faking it till I make it, aka I didn't make it, has been negative. And it's not even because I didn't make it. It was because I was trying to pretend to be someone that I'm not. So like a very, very good example of it was one time I auditioned for the Raptors dance pack. If you've ever seen the Raptors female dancers, at least, like they're all wearing like super skin tight clothes, like crop top, like dancing very, very feminine and very like jazz funk type vibes, which is so not my style, like any of it. Not the clothes, not the makeup, not the actual dance style. Like none of it is my style. So I went in and I was literally wearing booty shorts and like a crop top. And it wasn't like a thing that you were required to do, but I knew that everybody else was doing it. So I put on that outfit and like did my hair and makeup in like a certain way to look more feminine. And that was all on purpose because I wanted to like blend in and like fake that I am this dancer that I'm not. And in that situation, it was very, very negative for me because I totally felt like I was not being myself. Like I was compromising who I was just for a gig that I didn't get. Which isn't even the point of like getting it versus not getting it, but it's more so just the fact that I was like being so dishonest with myself and like kind of lying to myself and not being who I am.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the most like detrimental things you can do to yourself is start doing things just for the sake of like getting a gig, getting a job, following this path that you think you should be following, you know what I mean? Just for the sake of like getting experience or like putting something on your resume.
Right.
You know what I mean? When
Yeah.
it's like it isn't authentic to you, it's not even really the direction you want to be going in. Like, would you have been happy if you got this gig and you had to wear this tight, skimpy little outfit every day? And then like that was the direction that your dance career was going in? You just started
No.
becoming more jazz funk? Like,
No.
yeah, like
It's
in the
not-
end, that's
yeah.
not even the type of thing that you wanted. So it's like, why did you put so much pressure on this type of audition?
No, exactly. Yeah. And that's why I like felt like I was being so inauthentic to myself. Like I was lying to myself. I'm like, I can be this dancer. I can be whatever you want. And like, no, I can't. That's why there's different kinds of dancers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I'm not that. And this is why I got turned off from auditions very fast, is because I always felt like I was trying to be someone that I'm not, which is kind of like the whole point of acting. But at this, there's some level of like truth that you still hold when you're being a character. There's still some level of truth, right? Like it was more than just getting uncomfortable. It was becoming like unfamiliar to myself, which was not a good thing. So it was more than just playing a character. It was more than just having a job. And, you know, it was a whole like, I'm going to pretend to be someone else entirely. So, and that has happened in more than one audition, and more than just the Raptors audition, where I go in and I completely pretend that I am a different type of dancer and a different type of person just to appeal to whoever is sitting at the other side of the table.
Yeah, and I think for non-dancers, this also applies like directly in the form of job interviews, you know, like I know
Yeah.
it does for me because like obviously I listen to all of your stories and I get sort of the aftermath of your emotions after you don't get a gig or you get a little bit led on to like further stages in an audition, and then you have that like release of emotions where it's just so much disappointment and like
Right.
you know, so that's my perception of auditions and I really hate them. Like I hate how it's just you going up and somebody judging you. But
I mean, it's the same thing for a job interview though.
totally. My only thing was with auditions, it's like so constant that like you're ugh,
Right.
you know, and applying for jobs is the literal, honestly, I find it one of the worst experiences for your self-confidence. And for me, I think like a similar story, which I hope some people can relate to, I found this was kind of a common theme amongst all of my peers at school who were also in the co-op program and we're trying to just like secure a job. So you're competing against like thousands and thousands of applicants from all these different schools for like this one job, right? And I went into co-op feeling so confident in myself and my job experience. Like I am a bit more of like a mature student, so like I have more job experience than the people around me, so I was like, I got this, I'm good. But a lot of my job experience is in creative industries because that's what I love to do. So then I went into co-op and all of these jobs were very corporate jobs. They're very like business oriented jobs. Like I started putting myself into this position where that wasn't authentic to me. You know what I mean? Applying for these co-op positions, that's not authentic to me. That's not what I want to be doing. I don't want to be working for a big businessy corporation. I don't want to be like RBC. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like in a suit every day. Like so stuffy.
I can't even imagine you in that anymore.
No, I don't want that. And the thing was, though, I decided to do that because I thought that was the path I was supposed to take.
Right. Yeah. So you were conforming to the path that you thought you were supposed to take and the things that you were supposed to do to get there.
Yeah. And then I would get so nervous going into interviews because I knew that I was being inauthentic. And it was kind of like I would be sitting outside of these interviews preparing to go in. And I was like, fake it till you make it, fake it till you make it. Like, just like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's like a fine line with faking it till you make it. Like, I think it can come in handy sometimes, but other times you literally fake it so much until you're like a completely different person, completely just inauthentic to you, which did happen to me during auditions.
Totally.
And has happened to you during interviews.
Yeah. And honestly, like where I came to was I had realized how bad it was making my mental health. Like, it messed up my self-confidence so much because I applied to probably 50 jobs, which is the most jobs I've ever applied to in one span of time. I only got 2 interviews, and like I have a
Damn.
2-page resume where it's like, yeah, you should have a 2-page resume for sure. Like, that's how much job experience I have, and I didn't get any like return calls, nothing. And I just started to feel so crappy about myself. I'm like, am I like, should I be believing in myself? Like, am I this?
Yeah.
Am I good?
I also think that like when it comes to co-op, like the jobs that are available for you are very like you said, like corporate jobs
Yeah.
that where you don't feel like you can be yourself, jobs where you like be wearing a suit every day, jobs where you're not really doing the thing that you love and being as artistic as you are. So it was also not just a matter of like competing against other people, but just you not being aligned with the jobs that were presented to you.
Yeah, and I think I really do, and it's okay if you guys don't like prescribe to this, but I do believe that the universe tells you when you're on the right track, and it also tells you when you're not. And I think that's the reason why I didn't get any of those jobs. You know, and what ended up happening was I kept trying to like push it and force it because I needed to have the summer work term. So I reached out to a former boss and I asked for a position there, even though I wasn't very happy there the summer before. But I just took this job just because I wanted to fill out this work term. And in the first week, it just felt so wrong. And I ended up getting like fired, I guess, or let go for like the first time in my whole life because there was like this clash, you know, and like at first I was upset. I was really offended because I've never been fired before, but I realized that that was exactly what was supposed to happen because that's what freed my time open to now get the job at Conscious Economics, which is where we now work, where I'm able to be like super creative. I basically just make art for my job and I feel so much more like authentic and aligned.
Right.
And I like whatever I disclaimer, I decided to drop out of co-op because, and it's like, it's a decision that made me really happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like that's what aligns with you. Like in this case, faking it till you make it is a negative connotation because you were being inauthentic and you were just trying to do what you thought you were supposed to do rather than what actually made you happy.
Exactly.
Which is different. You know what's funny is that whenever I've gone into interviews, I haven't been nearly as scared or nervous or anxious about any interview more or even to the level that I've been nervous and scared and anxious for dance auditions.
Yeah, well, I think it just depends on what's important to you.
Yeah,
right?
and like for me, interviews are a piece of cake in comparison to an audition where you have to like a lot of the times learn something on the spot or come up with something on the spot, and then they're like, show us what you got, and I'm like, I don't know, this is like very sudden. You get there, you have no idea what they're gonna ask of you, then they're like, all right, learn this. Here, you have like a couple minutes to rehearse it, and then you're gonna show it to us, and it better be perfect. And I'm like, you know, and it's never like that during interviews.
Yeah.
So for interviews, I'm like, I'm gonna get this job. It's fine.
Yeah. I think that's the only real life example where it's like test taking actually makes sense. You know what I mean? Because in school, you're like, why the heck do I need to memorize this? Because I'm always going to have like access to the internet. But like in that kind of situation, like you need to be ready to go like on the ball all the time.
Yeah.
That it's stressful. We're getting a bit off topic. So we've told you kind of when faking it till you make it is a bad idea. But using that mantra, I guess, has been helpful for me though. And I do want to share like ways in which it's been helpful.
Yeah, there's times definitely where it can be very useful.
Yeah.
And it forces you to learn and to grow.
Yeah, I think you need to be really clear, though, on what you want in your life. You know what I mean? And you need to make sure that you're faking it in an industry where you are actually not faking it, you know, like you're wanting to learn and you're growing and you're just presenting yourself as very confident while you're learning and growing. And like your objective is to get there, you know, not to like show up in an inauthentic way. And I think one way that we've really done that together is through Queer Collective, through like video making, photography, and soon to come documentary filmmaking.
I mean, we'll see about that one.
So neither of us have structured education on photography or videography.
No, not at all. Everything that we've learned ourselves.
Yeah.
And here's the part where faking it till you making it actually comes in handy. Whereas, like, if you get a job opportunity or you get some sort of offer or someone asks, like, hey, I need this project done. Can you do it? And then that's when you're like, I have no idea if I actually can do it, but I'm going to say yes, and then I'm going to figure it out later.
Yeah.
So that's been the case for like all creative opportunities that we've gotten. Somebody's like, hey, I need this done. And you're like, yeah, okay, I can do that. And then you're just like Googling, how do I do that? Like,
Yeah.
but it works out because it forces you to grow in a very short amount of time. So you're like always learning, always growing, and you're challenging yourself all the time, which leads to more growth.
Yeah. And I think one issue is sort of undervaluing yourself, because I think when you're first faking it is you want to give this person a very low price because you're worried that you're not going to be able to turn it out.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, we totally do that all the time for like projects that take us so many hours. If you actually broke it down to the number of hours we work, it'd be like almost nothing that we're getting paid,
Like
right?
$5 an hour.
Exactly, maybe less. So you need to be thinking about how much you're valuing yourself and recognize your progress. Recognize when you're no longer faking it, you know, and you're just growing and like advancing your skills.
Yeah, and I think that that's something that's super important. You have to realize, because you can fake it for a bit and then eventually you become it. You know what I'm saying? So again, back to Emily's point, it's very important that is within the field that you're actually passionate about, and that's something that you actually love doing and not just faking whatever. For us, when it comes to creative opportunities and we fake it until we make it, at some point you actually start to make it, like for real, like you're growing, you're learning, and you actually have these skills that you previously did not have. So at that point, you have to start valuing yourself higher. Like you do hold a higher value than you did 6 months ago when you said yes and you didn't actually know how to do it and you had to Google it. You need to like also match that price point, and you need to match like that confidence level. Confidence is everything.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the confidence to be like, yeah, I can do this, then you're not gonna sell it. That's why faking it till you make it comes in handy, because if you aren't necessarily confident but you appear as confident, then eventually you will become confident. Does that make sense?
I think so. One like really good example of us faking it until we're making it, which is also a little bit funny, was this time last year we had a roommate whose partner worked at Maggie's, which is Toronto's sex workers action project. And she told us about this story of a trans former sex worker and just like community activist who was wrongfully imprisoned. Her name is Mocha Dawkins. She's been sort of like on our channel before, and I heard her story and I was like, this needs to be a documentary. Like, people need to know about this. Why haven't I known about this? So I don't know how to make a documentary, disclaimer, but I was like, someone needs to do it. So I'm going to reach out to her and like, we're going to see if she wants to do this. So I wrote her a letter. She was still like in prison at this time. And I got in contact with her lawyer and we started like having phone calls, and we just like started like once she got out of prison, which was like fairly shortly after I sent her a letter, we just started like working together in the library and like just figuring out how to apply for grants to make this documentary. And we were figuring out, I just like taught myself how to write a documentary script. You know what I mean? Like, I just kept like teaching myself how to do this, and I was like, you can do this. There was a lot of like imposter syndrome throughout this whole process. I was like, should I really be the person to do this? Like, am I going to let Mocha down? Like, am I going to be able to tell the story properly? And yeah, I can do it. And like, it was me like sort of playing that mantra in my head. I was like, just like fake it till you make it. And this is kind of where like, I don't know if I love the way that it's phrased, because I don't know if I'm faking it. I'm just learning and I'm doing it.
You know, I think that a better term for fake it till you make it, like in the positive sense, is to just like get uncomfortable and do it. Like, just literally Nike's slogan, just do it. Not sponsored. Yeah. But honestly, like it's better because like when you invest all of your time and your effort and your energy into a project or an idea or a theme, whatever it may be, you're no longer faking it. Like, you're actually invested in it, you know, and like you're learning and growing, and like you think you're faking it because you previously didn't know anything about it.
But you just taught yourself.
But as you learn, you're actually doing it,
you
know, and you're no longer faking it. So I think that might be a better term to say. Just do it.
I think I actually like that, like stepping outside of your comfort zone, because I think that's honestly all that it is.
That's what it is
stepping outside of your comfort zone and being confident while you're doing it.
Totally.
You know, there's no faking it that's happening. You're just doing it.
Yeah. And you're learning. You're learning how to do it. And literally when Emily's talking about like grants and like applications and reaching out to people, like we even made it into like Inside Out's micro grant financing forum, which is sponsored by Netflix.
It's freaking cool.
It's pretty cool. And you like actually get to present your idea and do like a whole pitch and everything like that with like the big boys watching and listening to you. So it's like we didn't know anything about it, but we committed to it. And like look how far it got us so far. You know, so and I feel like it can get us even further.
And when I first decided that we were doing this and like Mocha said yes, I got a message from one of like the board members at Maggie's who said like I would like to like invest into this project. And I was like, oh my God, this is real now. And then literally we were sitting there and I was like, how to make a documentary
on Google. It's like, what is step one?
But honest to God, that's our secret. Like that's how we've figured out how to do basically everything. Pretty is the internet. Everything. Like all resources are at your fingertips. There's like a YouTube video, there's a website, there's a page to learn absolutely everything.
Honestly, it's never been easier to learn something. Because you used to need to go to school if you wanted to learn how to make any type of film. Cameras they used to be far more expensive. Now we have like little cameras that we can make very, very, very good content on, like high quality content. So it's really not about like the equipment that you have or the official paper that say you got an education. It's more so about how much time that you're willing to invest into it. Like when we started the podcast, I had no idea how to make a podcast. I was like, how to make a podcast on Google. And then you figure it out, you know?
And you can see throughout like our oldest to like newest YouTube videos is like, you can see our progress and you can see how much we've been learning. Is like when our first few Tiny Deck concerts, I was like, wow, this is the most amazing thing we've ever created. And now we look back at it and we cringe because the audio is so bad. And like the video keeps coming in and out of focus and we're like, ugh. But like it looked so amazing to our like untrained eye. But now we're like, ugh.
But that's the thing. In like a few years from now, we'll look back at these videos and be like, ooh, exactly, we've gotten so much better.
Because it's just about growing, but I never want to take them down because it's like, we come so far.
We do. Yeah. And that's really what faking it till you make it should be about. I don't like the negative part of it where you just become someone who's not you.
Totally. I think that's kind of all we have to say, like in general, but I did promise you guys that tell you a story.
Do tell me a story, please.
I feel like maybe you should tell this story.
Okay, you know what? I'll tell the story because I got you this story. I'm part of this like WhatsApp group that just like gives you random gigs, and it's usually like through e-transfer, like nothing official, and it's mostly for like famous Indian artists, like Punjabi artists. I don't know any of them, but I was like, hey, it pays and I'm down for a few couple of easy dollars. So let's do it. So I accepted one of the jobs and it was for a music video and I was cast as like one of the dancers for it. And then they needed like models as well. And I was like, hey.
Which I clearly am.
Clearly. So I was like, hey, you want to be in this music video? It's going to pay you like a couple $100. Like, you're going to be good. And then she was like, yeah, where do we go? And it was like really far. It was like an hour and a half to get there. Yeah. But it's all good.
So you told me about this job and there was kind of like some pros and cons. So you told me how much it was like we were going to be paid, and at first I was like, yes, and then you said you have to wear high heels, you have to wear short shorts, and like Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. And that's so outside of my comfort zone. I never wear high heels. Like I don't know how to walk in high heels at all. And like just by the sounds of it, I was like, this sounds a bit degrading. but
It was.
but you just like kept convincing me. So I was like, okay, I guess like I'll take this money, whatever. Like you said, it's easy. You've done it before.
Yeah. It's only because it was easy money, okay?
Yeah. So I show up and there's just like a bunch of girls waiting outside of this like random like warehouse car garage type mechanic kind of place. And we like wait and wait. They're like an hour late. And then all of these people show up and it's kind of like an entourage. Like they're just like
and also
they're
like,
faking it till they're making it.
Yeah. And then also that's how like you know like this isn't like an official job. Like everybody
so
shows
late.
up like an hour and a half late.
Oh my god.
That doesn't happen in like, you know, well thought out planned jobs, like official jobs, like where you go through an agent and stuff. Like there's usually like crews and like these trucks that show up and everybody's got to be on time and everyone's early and they keep a schedule. This was nothing like that. Nope. They show up so late and they get started even later than that. Like they make us wait even while they're there.
So like, long. And this like Punjabi artist, I wish I knew his name, but he like comes up to the top of this area and he's like sitting and like offering us all Ciroc, and I'm like, is it even past 12 o'clock? And I'm just like, none of us are feeling it. It's like all of us, you can tell every single person there, because we discussed it, we were like, I just want to do this, get my money, and leave.
Yeah.
Like
and they're
none
like,
of us
you
are
want
feeling
some
it.
Ciroc? You want some vodka? Let's party. And we're like, no, we're here to do a job and get out. So
it's
let's
like
go.
You've already wasted like 3 hours of our time.
Yeah.
Like maybe if you got here on time, I would have like stopped and hung out with you, but no, right now. So they finally get started and Karbon shows up with your like dance crew kind of people, and I feel like all of these like model girls and me were all just like kind of ashamed of ourselves. We're like, we don't really have any real skill, like you guys just look really cool and we're just like video hoes. And that's when I realized I was like and then it starts and basically they just give us all of these like bubble wands and we're just being like video bubble hoes.
She was just shooting bubbles in the air, like, you know, like doing nothing else.
And here's the premise of the video. This nerdy guy shows up, and then there's this one main girl and all of the other girls. And the main girl comes up and she like strips off the nerdy guy's like button-up shirt and his glasses, and then we all dump water on him.
Bubble water. And then he becomes a cool guy.
Yeah, and then he's super cool. And then all these like super sick cars pull up and he's just like singing his song, and like all of us are being bubble hose on the car. And then Karbon and all the dancers, you guys actually looked really cool. That's why I actually do want to see the video, because it looked cool. Like the dance was really sick and the song wasn't bad. I was just embarrassed of what I was doing. But
and the thing was that like what's funny is that because you know you have all these professional dancers on the set doing a very non-professional shoot, they're gonna get pissed off, including myself. Like all of the dancers were like, okay, like you said this time we're done, and then like this is how much time there's left, and like we're going over the time, and time is money, and like I gotta go to my next like shoot or rehearsal or whatever. Like they got things to do. Like they're dancers. All these they guys got hella rehearsals.
And all these guys are just standing around. That's what was so annoying. It's like it's not like they were working really hard and like we were just waiting for the next thing to happen. It's like all of them were just standing around and like talking and like flirting with the girls and
so
stuff.
I'm
like, fuck, like
as we were dancing, like some of the girls, like they gave no hex. some of these girls, like they did not care. Like they straight up told like the producer and everything, they were like, we gotta go, like it's time, like we need to collect our money and go. And then the producer was like, oh snap, like I thought we were here to have fun. It's like, no, I got my next rehearsal, let's go. So then like as we were dancing and like wrapping it up, they're like, hey, I don't give a fuck. I don't care about this shoot at all. What time is it? Let's go.
We did end up getting out of there. I decided for the money I was going to fake it. Never made it. Not a famous video hoe. But that's okay.
At least you got a few bucks in your pocket
not
that time. It's fine.
If you have a music video going on and you want to pay me to be your video hoe, I'll still do it because I still need money.
Yeah.
Haven't made it yet.
Still gotta fake it.
Still faking it for sure.
With all of that said, I hope you enjoyed that little story at the end of us faking it and still not making it. But the big point here is to stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
And get uncomfortable, try new things. You're not really faking it if you're doing it, all right?
Yeah.
So get uncomfortable, get out there and go get them, champ.
I believe in you.
We believe in you.
Yes.
So
I think
continue
just
to challenge
I
yourself.
believe in you. Only me.
What? No, I believe in them too. What are you saying?
Do you though?
No, for real. So continue to challenge yourself. I highly, highly encourage you, but don't be disingenuous to yourself.
Yeah.
Always stay true to yourself.
That'll just make you feel crappy.
Unless you want to be a bubble hoe.
Yeah. Then fuck it. If you're getting paid, then fuck it.
That's the only exception, though. The only one.
If you're gonna be a bubble video hoe.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's pod. We apologize for taking a break, but we're back again. Again, mental health matters, so make sure that you're taking care of your mental health as well. And if you need to take a break, do it. With all of that said, make sure to subscribe as well as hit that like button until it turns blue. Hit that notification bell as well if you want to stay alert for the next pod. And with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next week. Peace.
Bye, guys.